I was not behaving like a pro in the few hours I had available. This is a personal story from the time that I started working as a freelancer online, and this idea actually came from a text from Steven Pressfield, and his article is called "Be a Pro for 1 hour." And one idea that I want to talk about first is that nobody has more hours than you do, because when you take into account actual time to work without distractions, without meetings, without talking to clients, and without transport or like other things you have to do, usually people that do their work professionally don't have any more time than we do, or people that work part-time or have projects. Therefore, let us take courage. This is from his text, and throughout this video I will explain it more. And Steven talks about one example, his friend called David, and he is an author that has bestsellers, works full time, but as he has a lot of things to do in his day, his actual time to write is just 1 hour a day, and it's usually spent writing in a coffee shop between everything else. So he has to touch, he has to promote, he has a lot of work, but his professional work of writing is 1 hour a day. And that's the same hour that someone that writes as a side project or as a hobby maybe has too. And my version of it is that when I was starting to learn how to work online, I decided to work online like in the beginning of 2020, in 2020, and until December of 2022 I tried a few things, but mostly of them were side projects. So I tried to work with social media design. I started working as a graphic designer, but I was just a mediocre one. I was not good, but that's what I started with, because when I was a teenager, I learned a little bit of Photoshop. And so in December 2021, I quit the job that I had at that time to have more time to work. And before that, I was flipping burgers. Yeah, I worked in a restaurant here in my city, in my hometown, and I flipped burgers. I made burgers every day, and I decided to quit that so I could focus on design full time and work as a freelancer, working from home instead of on a kitchen. And actually, the time bought just made me have more hours but the same results, because before I had just a few hours a day, as I was taking my freelance job as a side project. I had nothing. I had no clients. I had nothing. And when I quit my job, I had all day, every day available, but I still had nothing. And in this month, in December 2021, my first month as a freelancer, I actually made $0, zero reais. This is the currency in Brazil, and I didn't make any money at all. So it was really a bad decision at that time. The way that I did that uh, was not good. So the hours were never the problem here, because I had a lot of time available, but still had no income. So the more hours were not the solution. What I was missing, the work I never did first. So I was a freelancer. I tried to be a freelancer for months as a side project, but I still had no portfolio organized. I still didn't do outreach. to potential to prospective clients. And with that context, I quit my only income. So I was crazy. I do not advise you to do things like that. And I think that Steven Pressfield is right. So we are actually in the same boat. We have the same amount of hours every day of actual work, I would say. I'm not saying that focus. Maybe a lot of people have a little bit more hours of focused work, but a lot of times we are in similar situation. And Steven says that we can be full-time writers for an hour a day. And I get this idea and I try to apply into other contexts. We can be full-time anything for an hour a day if we work for focused and not like an amateur. So and this is even why this challenge exists. This challenge of me recording one for 1 hour a day, more or less, every day on camera, because time cannot be my excuse anymore. I started creating content online as a challenge to myself, and I am almost in the end of it. I think this is day 91 or 92. So I had a lot of time, and I even looking into the past now I've been creating. I with time it got a little bit easier for me to record my own videos in this style that you are watching. So I would say that it takes less than 1 hour a day. And now I see that it is possible to create content online with less than an hour a day. I know that my channel is small. I am just starting. This is the thing. To start, you don't need a lot of time. And that this is where it lands. The hour is already enough, and almost nobody uses it. So there are a lot of people that want to create content, and they say that they don't do that because they don't have time. But maybe they have 1 hour available, and for me it was enough. So think about it. If you want to create content online and you only have 1 hour, maybe that's just the amount of time you want. I am recording every day. It is a lot harder to record every day. Maybe you can start to record once a week. So you will have like 7 hours to create a better video. My videos are really simple because I don't have my challenge is to record every day, not to record high quality videos every day. I'm not at that level yet. So the lesson from this video is more time will not make you a pro. Being one for an hour will. And that goes along with the idea of getting 1% better every day. If you work like a pro for just 1 hour every day, you will improve 1% every day. And this was bought from this text from Steven Pressfield, as I said, and this will be in the description. And for the ones who stayed until the end of the video, I admit that I still fail at small tasks too. So I still fail at the hour that I have to sleep. And for example, today I had to sleep at 10 p.m. and it is already 10:30 p.m. and I am recording a video, and I think I will work at until midnight. Prayer, I say that I am Catholic, but I still have to really give effort to pray every day as I should. That's the bare minimum to me, but I still fail at that. And these are things like they're basic. So I stopped starting with goals. Like I stopped starting with trying to get like I didn't start with the idea of recording one half an hour video every day. I started with the minimum, and the minimum for the videos were like just record. And then there were some 2 minutes, 3 minutes videos. And when I am writing or reading right now, I still fail a little bit. So I decided to read a minimum of 10 pages of books every day. And the goal, the actual goal is 30 pages, but 10 pages is a lot easier. But and I feel no guilt at that, because I know that it helps me to build the habits. And if something, if you have just 1 hour to do something as a pro, start with the minimum and go every day trying to get a little bit better at that, and then you will progress. So that's it for today's video. I see you in the next one.